Retro Trekking with the Caramel Apples podcast, the apple snack that brings you a retro vibe, both crunchy and sweet, with your hosts Kennedy Rizzo and Cooper Lee.
What time is it? It's apple snack time. Coming up. What is your best memory of concerts you have attended? Okay, so we have yet another fun topic to talk about, and that is everything's a wide world with us. Only with a caramel twist.
You're right.
But welcome to the wide world of concerts.
Yeah. This is a pastime for a lot of people that probably drums up some serious nostalgia.
Oh, yeah.
I had a recent visit with a doctor just this week, and he was talking about how he's been to like 100 plus concerts.
Are you kidding me?
Yes. And the person that kind of resonated with him, I think probably may have been the most he's been to, was Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, so he's old school then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is something that it's a pastime that, you know, people, they like to indulge in.
They do. And, you know, the music sphere has changed so much. You know, a lot of what we talk about on our podcast is how things are now versus what we come up with, what we remember. And, you know, bands and groups, singing groups and all that, you know, that was life. That was the culture back then. And like it made the world spin.
Yeah.
And it still does, I think, to a degree, but everything's kind of watered down, and there's a little bit of an unbalance.
Yeah.
So there's big stars, and then there's people you never even heard of.
Right.
Which, don't get us wrong, it's always kind of been like that with certain artists and stuff. But back in the day, when you heard a name, a band, a singer, like everybody knew who that was.
Right. It seemed like it was pretty much, they had a lot of people across the board who liked them. Like it wasn't just so specific a group of people. It seemed like everybody liked them. Everybody.
Yeah. I mean, our parents, they weren't big concert goers, but every now and then they'd grab a show.
Yes.
We went to our state fair one year in the early 80s. I think it was like 85 or something, 84, 85. And we went and saw a group called Midnight Star, which it had a live group there because like people were getting nuts at the end, and you know they were trampling seats flat into the ground, you know, and like our parents were like, okay, it's time to vamos, grab these kids and let's go.
Let's go.
Somebody a little bit more on the safe side was George Benson.
Yes, they. That's a big one for them. They've always really liked him.
Mama had his vinyl. She liked her some Masquerade.
Yeah.
But so we got our love for music and artists with that kind of talent, you know, from our mama. Our daddy appreciates music. It's not his thing though. It's definitely more her thing.
Yes.
But we've always been drawn to that. So like, you know, that's kind of the next phase in a music lover's world. You know, they want to see their people perform live and in concert venue.
Yeah.
And right now, like, one of the biggest people going, like, we're getting old, I mean, she's around, you know, I guess she's talented. It's the new wave.
Yeah.
But she's everywhere. And it's Taylor Swift.
She's pretty much drowning out anyone else that was kind of like when she was there, like they arrived around the same time. She's pretty much left them in her wake. Like,
yeah,
you don't even really remember some of their names that came out around the same time she did.
Yeah, and she crossed over.
Yeah.
She went from country, which I forget about that, to now she's the biggest pop star going.
Right.
I don't even know if she's even bigger than Beyonce, which that's all you heard there for a while there too, you know, like she's got her fans.
Yeah.
And she crossed over, come out of Destiny's Child into a solo artist, and her connections made her big. But,
and I think she's doing a lot of behind the scenes too.
Maybe, because you just don't really hear about her much in the news feed. Jen had her babies, you know, stuff, and it's like kind of gone quiet.
She's like, maybe I just want to be a mom.
That would probably be good.
Yeah.
But like stars now, you know, like I don't even know if a lot of them are pulling off concerts like they did back in the day. That was more of like I've arrived. We've arrived.
Yes.
If somebody was selling out venues.
Yes.
With you know, tickets, like you said, that doctor that you saw and talked to, you know, that he's like, hey, Bruce Springsteen, I've seen 100 of his concerts. He's like, that's bragging rights.
Right, yeah.
And that's our generation. That's what we did.
Right.
So we did go to a couple of concerts back in the day. Who can you remember that we went and saw? We were like, yeah, we've arrived.
Well, I have to say, because you kind of already mentioned, you know, the state fair.
Yeah, that was a big one for us.
And because we could afford it.
It's called admission price for the fair, and that's free concert. No, yeah. I think we did pay for one of them.
That would be Crisscross.
Did we pay for that one?
We had to pay for Crisscross because
I remember that.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, at that point, it wasn't just in the grandstand. Like, they had, like, a building that you would go into and actually...
I do remember that.
Yeah, so we had to pay a little bit more. And I don't think it was, like, too crazy, because we could still afford it. You know, we... penny change, right? Okay, so we could afford it at the time. But we also saw... New Kids on the Block.
We saw New Kids on the Block.
Wow. That was just enlightening at the time. I mean, on so many levels.
It was.
It was New Kids on the Block. Come on.
They rocked the house out, too. I mean,
did.
We couldn't get enough of them. The culture around us could not get enough of them.
Yeah, they took center stage, and they owned that stage for quite some time. And also another one, I believe we made mention of because we gave her own show as well, was Gloria Estefan.
Oh, okay, yes. We loved Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine.
Yeah.
That was my first cassette tape ever.
So cool.
Yeah, and we went with people then. We were still a little bit on the young side, so we couldn't drive ourselves there, but like the euphoria of experiencing one of our first concerts.
Yeah.
That blew us away.
And it's neat because when you're seeing them on State Fair venue, that means they haven't really arrived yet on the top of their game.
Yeah.
They were shooting for the stars and they went beyond that. So the fact that we saw them, these acts in those settings, we could afford it because they weren't that big yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they just got bigger. So it's like, that's cool that we were at the beginning of their...
history.
Right.
Yeah, we were part of that history.
Love it. That is so cool.
That's epic.
Yeah. Now, when you get to where they're selling out, you know, thousands of seats in any particular venue, it's hard to say, well, yeah, you know, we were there at the very beginning. I mean, maybe you were, but, you know, at that point, there's a lot of people there and you're getting drowned out.
Well, just let's back up a minute. You know, we just sat here and talked about Taylor Swift briefly, and like, especially this past summer, because she's on that tour right now.
Yes, yeah.
And we actually have some, because we could have children that can drive. Some of our friends have grandchildren that are getting close. But anyway, so we put ourselves out there a little bit and we dated ourselves. But anyway, like, so we know some of the younger folk, you know, some of our friends' kids or grandkids that they've lost their minds. They love Taylor Swift. They've gone to this concert.
Yeah.
They've gone to this concert, and it was like hashtag epic, hashtag awesome for them. So it was nice to see them enjoying that with their little girl squad or whatever, and you know, filling in the gaps of some of those memories that they'll be talking about when they're middle age. But people in the news feeds were actually, I don't know, it sounded like they were literally mortgaging their houses to get tickets to this girl's concerts. Wow. They were spending thousands, okay, capital TH, of dollars, so their kids could go to this girl's concert.
It's not even like it's a full day. It's not a week. It's a couple of hours. It's not that long.
She's flesh and blood, people. I mean, come on.
And now, I don't know if you've heard or seen, there's a movie of this concert. I think it's this concert or something. But it is related to her. It's hers.
Oh, I have not heard. Okay.
And you can go to the movie theater, pay a ticket price to go to the theater and see this. So
I've not heard that.
I never heard of it.
So here you got people who are, like you said, mortgaging for their kids to go do this, and then
thousands.
Wait, you mean we could have went to the movie theater?
Yeah,
but it's not the same. They're
critical
not actually
thinking there.
Seeing her in person.
And then who pays for these tickets? It's the mom and the dad. Yeah. So it's like, okay, so you're saying, oh, my daughter, or maybe the son, wants to go to see Taylor Swift, but what is wrong with mom and dad? They're the ones forking out the cash. Okay. So back to our little measly coin concerts.
Penny Jane. Yeah.
There was actually, so we dipped our toes into the concert field, with what we just described. We talked about Gloria Estefan, Miami Sound Machine, New Kids on the Block. We also went to Crisscross. That's right.
Yeah.
So,
which was later in the 90s, obviously.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So we're in the 90s. Great segue. So it's at a nearby university. It's about 25 minutes away. But anyway, a lot of concerts are here. A lot of big things are here. And this was back in the 90s. So big names, headliners were here. It was, at the time, it was Boyz II Men.
Yep.
That's a shout out to our friend MM. You know who you are. She loves Boyz II Men. So that's for you, girl. Shy, who I don't know if they're doing anything now, but they were crooners. They could do some a cappella.
Yes.
And also Jodeci. Jodeci was the bomb back then.
Wow. I think they all brought something to the table.
Mm-hmm.
They were all kind of like in the same genre, but they carved out their own little niche. Mm-hmm. And there was just something about early 90s and these guys that you just mentioned. They definitely had the girls going wild, right?
It was a movement.
It was.
It was a movement, and they were smooth. Like, they dominated. And this was all back when In Living Color was out, and all the good 90s movies, that took place in the hood. Like, this was the soundtrack for that.
Right, yeah.
These guys set the perfect soundtrack for those kind of movies. It was an awesome time.
Yeah.
You running with your homies or whatever? Wonderful. So, but the thing is, we were supposed to go to that concert, and our dada put the kibosh on that, because he's always worried about our safety.
Yeah, he completely was like, no. I mean, because we were supposed to go, like you said, so we had the plan and everything. Already purchased the tickets.
Yes, people. Hear that?
Already owned the tickets, already knew where the seats were going to be, all of that.
Hashtag buzzkill.
We didn't get to go.
Hashtag buzzkill.
we ended up selling those tickets.
Holy God, what are you showing me? Hey, come on.
To a school friend. But still, I mean, so someone got to enjoy it. But it was like, man, we thought we were in the house. We thought we had arrived because we had the tickets now. How could you say no? Yeah, it was still a no. We didn't go.
Dada was brutal. He was like, all right, I'm gonna make that hurt. He did too.
He did.
I think it took us a while to get over that one. Like we don't know. We're leaving now. Got our little bag with a stick on our. So
yeah, but we were still younger and living at home. So I mean,
yes,
we totally respected our parents. So if
yeah,
we may have not been too happy about it, but we would follow the rules. But getting older...
Okay, yes, next step.
And living out on our own. It's like if you wanted to go to a concert, you did. And did go to one that had a certain... that had a certain Limp Bizkit.
Oh, yeah. Talk about that for a second, Coop.
Yeah. So we're later into the early aughts. Like, it was 2000.
Our people are caramel confused. Yeah, you need to tell them about this. It is possible.
Right. So, it was, I believe it was like in December. It was cold out and everything. And so it could have been a potential risk or whatever going to this concert, you know, and
weather-wise, yeah.
Yeah. I remember losing my voice at this concert.
From screaming?
Oh, yeah. It was live.
You're nuts.
Yeah, so it was Limp Bizkit and Friends. Like, it was a good time. It was a good time. I remember we were at the very top. Like, we could see. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
but.
And that's the whole point of our topic this week, you know, because there's just certain things. You know, life can really squeeze and weigh on folks.
Yeah.
You got to find little bursts of happiness or joy here and there, you know, and a lot of it was around music. Yeah. So it's kind of neat that, you know, we can actually dig back into our memories and talk about this stuff. You know, just sit here for a few minutes, you know, you go back there.
Right.
And it's exciting because you're like, that feeling comes back up. It wells back up and you're like, man, that was an awesome time. And that was a little bit more rough and hardcore.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about Limp Bizkit, you know, like they were a little rough around the edges, but they had some good music. I love that one song. Was a hot dog.
I think it was.
I like that one. I don't know. I like that one. It's the only one I can remember. But then we grew up a little more. I do think we were already married at this point. Our mom and dad, they were celebrating an anniversary one year. It was a few years back, probably about 10, 11 years ago. But our mom loves piano music.
Yeah.
And one of her favorite pianists of all time is Yanni. And he is wonderful.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would go to his concert today.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Just very tranquil and relaxed. It takes you into another realm. Yeah. Our mom is nuts. Like, our mom is dealing with some health issues right now. We love her, but, you know, she's dealing with some heavy-duty stuff. But it's cute because she loves pictures. And she's got pictures, you know, and on her little nightstand or whatever. On her nightstand, our dad is totally fine with this. Whatever keeps her happy. But she's got 2 pictures from the CDs of Yanni on her nightstand. Needless to say, she was a diehard fan.
Yes.
She's like, I like me some Greek pianist. He is so cute. I don't know. She's a nut. We love her.
Yes.
But anyway, we're getting close to wrapping this discussion up. But concerts, again, you know, they're not really, it's not like it was back in the day. They're still going. You know, a lot of the bands back in the day had that kind of stuff. You know, like people went. We were kind of late on all that stuff. You know, like we had stricter parents. We didn't have the funds. You know, there were just some things that were roadblocks for our, you know, our retro fun. But we still had it. We squeezed some in there.
Yes, we did.
But thinking of concerts, what would be a dream concert for you, Coop, before we end?
Oh, wow. I mean, straight up at this point, the only music that I really listen to is EDM.
I'm with you.
So
I am with you.
I would say that would get me going. And of course, like I said, I'd go to Yanni today. So
Yanni, yep.
I would totally do that again. So that would have to be it, I would say.
Really? How about freestyle? I think I would like to see that live.
Would you like to?
Old school freestyle? Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Shoot, I play that when I'm raking leaves in the backyard. I'll be sitting there at Party 1 jamming, you know, with my rake and whatnot.
Right?
I just did that early in the week.
Hey. Not so nostalgic. It just happened.
Exactly. Cook them memories.
Yeah.
I actually also liked some of the hair bands.
Yes.
Which, you know, that died out. That culture died out too. Just like we were talking about with like Boys II Men. That was a era.
Yeah.
A glam band, same thing. Hair bands, they were an era. So we were younger then, but that would have been kind of cool to go to Def Leppard.
You know what? Yeah, Def Leppard, they rock.
Yeah.
Phil Collins as well. I think he's done.
Yeah.
I don't think he's touring anymore.
He has serious health problems he's dealing with, so he's probably just like, hey, if I can get my slippers on and enjoy my coffee, it's a good day.
Yeah.
We're with you there, Phil, and be on the lookout. We will be talking about him and some of his awesome works very, very soon.
Bring it on.
But yeah. Coop and I, hashtag goals. We do have a plan to get to Ibiza, Spain.
Yeah.
That is the EDM capital of the world. We're going to get there. We're going to listen to some Corey Thurston, Gareth Emery, and Armin van Buuren.
Oh, bring it.
It has to happen. Hashtag EDM.
Oh, I love it.
So, well, this has been a cool topic to talk about this week. What about you, Orchard Archivers? What is one of your favorite or some of your favorite concert experiences going? From the retro past, present, or even something you want to do in the future? Who do you remember screaming and losing your voice to as you rock the night out? Weigh in. We cannot wait to hear your responses. Let's ignite this fascinating discussion.
And that's it for this week's Apple Snack. But as you know, there's always more where that came from. So stay tuned. Subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, and review. If this episode entertained you, please spread the word. See you next time in the Retro Orchard, and thanks so much for listening.